Welcome. We have here with us Rosanna Latorre, also known as Roxanne, who has joined us from the Philippines and is part of our general chapter here during this week in Pattaya, Thailand. Welcome, Roxanne. It's good to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Can you give me a little indication of your connection with the Redemptorists at the present time?
Okay. Currently, I am involved with the Lipa community. I used to coordinate the Justice, Peace, and Integrity of Creation program. And then at the same time, I do some counseling under the counseling ministry we have just set up a month ago. Also, I am connected with the formation community in St. Clement's Mission Seminary. I am in charge of the socio-affective program for first year and third year collegian of our formation program.
Very good. Can you explain the counseling program to me? Is it sort of like spiritual direction, or is it deeper than that?
It's counseling for devotees or for those people who might have problems with relationship, in family. They usually approach the confession. So instead of those things being dealt with in confession, the priest may recommend them to the counseling office, counseling ministry. We have just started just a month ago.
So you'll be learning.
So yes, and we're thinking of maybe encouraging or setting up a pool of counselors, volunteer counselors from the area, so as to beef up the personnel in the counseling ministry. At the moment, I am the only one counselor doing the counseling for people.
Can you tell me about when you first made contact with the Redemptorists, so how you did that? And what that means?
That was a very long time ago.
Yeah,
I remember meeting some novices maybe in 1986 in our community. We call it barangay, where I reside. I was the youth leader then, and the novices were in the area for their pastoral work or pastoral ministry. And I was the youth leader then, so I had some access with the youth, and the novices worked with us in the chapel, in our community chapel. We do Bible sharing sessions until we organize the youth. So that was the first time I came to know the Redemptorists through the persons of the novices. And then later on, I became a member of the Redemptorist Youth Apostolate in Lipa community. That's also by the novices. And we use the theater arts for evangelization, for consciousness raising as a vehicle. And so I had a little stint on theater arts during that time. Maybe I was about 18 or 19 years old. And then a few years later, the Redemptorist set up a mission team, and they asked me if I am interested to join the mission team. And because I learned to love the Redemptorist way of life, how they do mission, how do they connect with people, I accepted the invitation, and that had later on shaped my life and vocation as a layperson. That was in 1989.
1989. So tell me what you did on the missions. Give me a hint of how that worked for you and the mission team.
Yes. Before I became a lay missionary, I underwent a short period of formation. That later on, it became a 2-year formation program. But during my time, I was one of the pioneers as lay missionary. As we join in the mission, we also have our formation program, our formation sessions. In the mission, I help in organizing sectors, organizing the youth, women, or fisherfolk, whatever sector is in the community. Either we help them strengthen their faith, and if there are sectoral issues that needed to be addressed, we also help on that area. In the chapel, or in the aspect of strengthening their faith, I help in the catechesis. There will be sessions in the afternoon, and some of the lay missionaries are in charge there. The areas to be covered could be relationship with God, and then relationship with each other, say a little on prayer, whatever need the people has expressed. And at the same time, when we go to the mission, we already have our, say, proposed modules for session, but then we have to change that if we see the actual situation or need of the people. So particularly my participation would be on catechesis, giving sessions in the evening, and then in organizing.
Sounds a lot like St. Alphonsus when he started the Redemptorist. It's just a sort of a modern version of making sure that there are opportunities for the people to learn about their faith and to learn their prayers and things like that. So very good. Tell me what excites you about the Redemptorist and about your involvement in their ministry.
I guess I always love being with people, serving the people. And because I come from a poor family, I know the needs of the poor. And I saw that with the Redemptorist. They treat people differently in a very positive manner. They are close with the poor. And I think I also value that. In that case, we have the same passion for something, for serving the poor. And I think that what keeps me excited about it.
Very good. This is a strange question, but have you ever done any work at Baclaran?
I'm not assigned yet in Baclaran, although from time to time I go there for some meetings, for some consultation, but I'm not actually assigned there.
I visited there back in 1995 and was very impressed with the atmosphere of prayer and devotion and the people. How about St. Alphonsus? What does St. Alphonsus mean to you?
Yeah. I am always amazed on how he showed his love for the poor. I always go back to the history told to us about St. Alphonsus. And if given the similarity on the current situation of the Philippines, I can always say that what St. Alphonsus had done with the poor then, the Redemptorists are doing to our poor at present. And I can identify with that. In my introduction yesterday, I told in my reflection that somehow my involvement with the Redemptorist had given me locus and the environment for serving the people. Perhaps if St. Alphonsus is alive today, I can tell him, these are the poor of your time. These are the poor of our community. And I think it would be, it's just nice, it's just right that we serve them now.
I think that's a very accurate description of what St. Alphonsus would see and say. So that's very impressive. What do you see in terms of the future for lay Redemptorist collaboration in the Philippines or in this whole region?
Yeah, I think we have to work more on common formation. We have experienced what I see is a little weakening of the lay participation in the Vice Province, particularly on the areas of relationship with professed and lay missionary. So I think we have to work on more on dialogue and common formation for a better understanding of each other's role in the partnership. And at the same time, common formation, perhaps giving more formation perhaps for the lay to be able to help more in the area of formation of candidates for religious life, and formation of our co-lay participants in the mission. Because you see, there are a lot of, there are several associations of the lay in the Vice Province. We have the lay missionaries, we have the program staff, we have the community personnel, we have shrine volunteers, and all of them need proper formation according to their needs and according to their role or service in the church. And I think we have to focus more on formation to be able for the lay to be effective partners and members of the church. I think we have to provide them with proper formation. And I think that is where we should be going, at least at this point.
Okay. You also have done some work with the Redemptorists in terms of vocation recruiting, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what kind of young people you encountered who are interested in the Redemptorists and what they were saying and thinking.
Okay. I was vocation coordinator for about 10 years. Yeah. And the way we do vocation promotion is that we go to different high schools, most of them government secondary schools. We introduce the Redemptorist with them, a little discussion on the life and the formation process. And there was a certain period when we get a high number of vocation, and most of them are intrigued somehow on the way of life of the Redemptorist, especially when you talk about service for the poor, preferential option for the poor. They would love that. They would become inspired, perhaps intrigued, and then later on when they enter formation, they will always return to that specific inspiration or attraction to the Redemptorist. When they go into pastoral ministries, pastoral work, which we usually introduce in the early part of the college formation, they will always put importance on that experience with the people.
That's wonderful. You've come here as a participant in the general chapter of the Redemptorists. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, this really meant a lot for me. But at the same time, I told during our small group discussion that we have given so much space for lay presence as far as general chapter representation. I think we also have to prepare them before we go into the general chapter, especially in the conference level. If we would like to prepare and equip the lay representative to the general chapter, I think we have to prepare them at least on this level so that they can claim rightful representation of the sector that they are representing. And in this case, if we are conference representative, I think it would be nice if we would be prepared to at least get to know other lay partners in other units as far as conference level. Even only on the level of sharing experiences, taking inspiration from one another, and also identifying what could have been the challenges or problems in partnership with the Redemptorist. So it would be nice to hear from other units, from other lay.
Well, this is a work in progress, because we are getting used to having lay people, first of all, at our general chapter, and then deciding and figuring out how to best make this work for all of us. Is there any sort of final comments you'd like to make?
I think I'm very grateful for being part of the Redemptorist family. And I know that as I am given the chance to live out my own vocation as a lay person, I am also recognized in the way I serve people, and I am also improved as a person. I am given the opportunity to express my talents, to share my skills, and as I help people, as I help the church, as I become active member of the church, it also helped in my own well-being. And I think I am very grateful for that.
That's wonderful. And on behalf of the Redemptorists, I would like to thank you for joining us at the General Chapter. I think, Roxanne, you're a wonderful example of the great things that are happening, the new things that are happening, not just in the Philippines, but across the Redemptorist world. And it's a pleasure to have spent this time with you. And I ask God's blessing upon you, your family, and the Redemptorists.
Thank you very much.